Over the last few years, reports of encounters with a hunter alien species referred to as the Predator have increased dramatically. The Predators have been keeping a close eye and vested interest in Earth and its humans. They have determined the species as endangered and will likely die off when climate change makes the planet uninhabitable. Such a climate, however, would be perfect for the Predators, who thrive in heat and wouldn't mind taking over the planet once the humans are gone. But not before they hunt and collect the finest human specimens, the most advanced and gifted in the gene pool, and harvest their DNA for use in their own hybridization experiments meant to make them the ultimate predators. After Quinn McKenna, a sniper suffering from PTSD, discovers one of their crashed ships and their unique technology, he finds himself a target of the aliens and of Project Stargazer, an operation which studies the predators, with agents willing to kill anyone who gets in their way. McKenna must unofficially lead a squad of troubled soldiers with the aid of a scientist studying the creatures in order to unlock the mystery of the alien technology left behind, and to save Earth and his family in the process. In the broadest sense of things, that's what's going on plot-wise for The Predator, Shane Black's new film and the fourth entry in the Predator franchise. The movie offers a violent, R-rated good time for Predator fans and fans of the action genre. For the most part, it delivers, but there are many, many flaws. I wanted to share some thoughts on the movie today in this video. Going right into it, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you've been warned. If you're still on the fence about whether or not to go see it, the best I can tell you is this. If you've seen the trailers and thought, this looks interesting, I wonder if it's any good, I wonder where they're going to take the Predator series, then definitely follow that curiosity, check it out. In one way or another, I think the movie rewards that kind of curiosity and has things to offer that I think people will really like. But if you've seen the trailers, maybe read and watched some reviews already, and have pretty much determined you'll hate the movie, stick with that instinct. You probably will hate it. It won't convert you. Its charm won't win you over, I can assure you that. While it might not be the most shining endorsement for the movie, I can say if you go in open with low expectations, it's a satisfying movie. It's one that I enjoyed quite a bit. But I think I should talk about my biggest problem with the movie first, and it has nothing to do with what was done with the Predator lore, or even really the plot of the movie. It has to do with the casting. Quinn McKenna is written and presented as this classic kind of badass character. They even give him some decent one-liners amidst the action scenes. One particular quote I really liked from the character was read from his personnel file during the briefing scene. "From the moment I was born, I dropped to the ground and crawled down the path of the gallows to my inevitable grave." Pretty dark, badass stuff, but it just doesn't match with this actor, Boyd Holbrook. I'm not all too familiar with Holbrook's work. Looking at his IMDb filmography, I can see that the only thing that really stands out, for me at least, is Logan, where he played the villain and was admittedly really good in that role. But I just wonder why they didn't cast someone more well-known in this lead role for the Predator, and frankly someone better, more charismatic, more convincingly badass. Someone who, even if they're not as big and muscular as Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch character from the first movie, could at least give him a run for his money. I'm not saying they need to run down the list of usual suspects when it comes to modern action stars like The Rock or Vin Diesel or Jason Statham, etc., though honestly, either one of them would have been better to see in this role. It's just that I think Holbrook was ultimately the wrong choice. And I do sincerely see that as a severe problem. The casting is a crucial element. Let's not forget that the original 1987 Predator was essentially conceived through the stunt casting of a big 80s action star fighting against an alien. Jim and John Thomas, the creators of the Predator character, have said the movie was inspired by a joke about all the Rocky sequels and how there wouldn't be any humans left for Rocky to fight, so Sylvester Stallone would have to go and fight a space alien next. After that, the movie practically wrote itself. The boxing match became a jungle hunt, Sylvester Stallone became Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the rest is history. Never underestimate the power of the movie's starring role. It can make or break a movie, or franchise. This is no more painfully obvious than when we reach the very end of the movie, if I can jump way ahead for a moment. As the plot of the movie goes along, we learn that the first Predator scene, referred to as the fugitive Predator, is actually trying to leave behind a weapon that will be able to help humanity against the other Predators. By the end, it's revealed to be a suit called the Predator Killer, that we can assume was specifically tailored or altered for human use. Quinn McKenna almost looks straight into the camera and says, "That's my new suit. Hope you have it in a size 42, or something like that, and then it cuts to black, the end. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will hate this ending. It is a little sequel baity, isn't it? It's like they want to do some R-rated Iron Man stuff with this suit in a sequel, and I think the sentiment behind it is alright, but if Boyd Holbrook is no Arnold Schwarzenegger, then he's certainly no Robert Downey Jr., so I don't think that would work out. And I just couldn't be less enthused about seeing this character and this actor in further movies in the Predator franchise. I don't want to see him fighting in Predators in a big series, unfortunately. And the thing is, that might have been a different story with a different actor in the role. A character and actor we'd all be excited to see in future movies, but not this guy, and that does make all the difference. I know this may seem like something I'm dwelling on, but I really feel the need to stress how important of a factor this is for a movie like this, and I think the casting of the lead character is the biggest failure of the movie, and anything else would be sorting out small potatoes. Movies are magic shows. The actors are the dazzling assistants meant to distract us from the illusion. With the right actors, plot holes are a little less obvious, contrivances are more easily forgiven. Special effects are more convincing, it's just a more enjoyable show. So if I were to go over some of the other negatives of the film when it comes to the script, like the very convenient happenstances, highly questionable character motivations, dialogue that is painfully expository, one-liners that fall flat, all that kind of stuff, it hardly seems worth talking about. These were all flaws present in the previous Predator movies, quite honestly. It's just hard to care when it's so awesome to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger fight in the jungle and chomp on his cigars and deliver his one-liners and practically wink at the camera the whole time. That's the magic of the 1987 film, a magic that sadly is lacking in this 2018 sequel. But, in all fairness, one could argue that the movie's true star isn't the human anyway, it's the Predator. That's the title of the movie, for God's sake. That's the reason people are going to see this movie and have an interest in the franchise beyond just the first one, with Arnold. People want to see it for the iconic Predator creature, created by special effects master Stan Winston, and all the carnage and chaos the alien is sure to cause in an action-packed, special effects-filled, R-rated blockbuster. And in that respect, it's hard to deny that it absolutely delivers. There is a lot of cool Predator carnage that takes place in the movie. A lot of red shirts getting brutally killed. A lot of blood and guts and gore. It would have been nice to see more practical effects when it came to the gore. There's a lot of CGI blood, but it's appreciated anyway, and most importantly, the practical effects were utilized for the Predators themselves. With the new Predator, the Ultimate Predator, there is CGI, and there's forced perspective in creating this hybridized, gargantuan version of the Ouija species as well. Sometimes it is hard to tell what's CGI and what's forced perspective, so there's a good composite of different types of effects used for when they're most appropriate or most effective in any given shot or scene. All in all, I'd say the whole production is a harmonious marriage of CGI and practical effects. I'd even say The Predator is a perfect modern example for special effects teams to follow for these types of movies. It can be done. The role of the Predator is credited to Brian Prince, who I assume portrays both the Fugitive Predator and the Ultimate Predator. He's a newcomer to playing such a role. Predators in the past have been performed by some incredibly talented actors such as Kevin Peter Hall and Ian White, each who brought unique traits and personalities to their Predators through their performances, and I think Prince follows in this tradition. I like this Predator. The Fugitive Predator, the Rogue, the Rebel, the Shit Disturber. They gave him some good traits. He's kind of this anti-hero. His mission is ultimately to help humans, but when he's in a tight spot, he's not going to hesitate to kill anyone, and as with any other Predator, he enjoys it. In the lab escape sequence, he even uses human weapons against them. It was pretty cool to see a Predator using a machine gun. The Fugitive seems to have a wicked sense of humor as well. After killing guards in the back of an armored vehicle, the driver asks if everything's okay. From the back, the Predator extends the severed arm of one of the dead guards with its thumb up, which convinces the driver. Many will probably get a kick out of this joke, while others may absolutely hate it. But think about what this implies about this fugitive Predator. He knows humans well enough to know what that gesture means, and if he didn't reassure the driver, it really only would have mildly and briefly inconvenienced him, so clearly he must be doing it just for his own amusement, or just to see if he could get away with it, and he does. Or maybe it's just a dumb joke, one of many, unfortunately. I'm already hearing a pretty persistent criticism of the movie that it's a little too heavy with the humor. I would say that I agree with that. I don't mind one-liners here and there, and I don't even mind some goofy antics between characters here and there, but the movie goes a little overboard with its jokes, and gets especially obnoxious when it gets into the whole self-referential territory, and its running gag about how the name of the alien creature was chosen, and it just isn't as clever or charmingly irreverent as it thinks it is. And perhaps worst of all are the callback lines. There are two well-known lines from the original film that are altered and recontextualized for this movie, and both times it's absolutely cringe-inducing. I won't even spoil it for you here, you'll have to see it for yourself. And I hereby propose that outright all callback lines should be banned from franchise films. Nobody likes them, they're not cute, they're not clever, they're annoying. Just stop it, Hollywood screenwriters. Please. I don't think overall it's a bad thing to use humor in a movie like this, but I think Shane Black just goes a little too far, and maybe a little forced with some of the lines. And he doesn't need to. The funniest things about the characters, it would happen, is their behavior, not so much their jokes. They're oddballs to begin with, and I like that aspect to it. It's kind of cheesy, but it's a pretty cool concept. It's a merry band of military misfits that come together and hunt down space aliens. Only they can do it because only they are crazy enough to believe this story in the first place. They're outsiders, they're mentally ill, troubled. At times it felt like Predator meets One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is an unexpected but intriguing blend. And unexpectedly, I found myself liking these characters, feeling invested in them, feeling a little sad when, spoilers, inevitably they all end up dying at the end. There was a good camaraderie among the group. I know I made it pretty clear that I'm not a fan of the lead role, and by the way, absolutely nothing against Boyd Holbrook. I thought he was great in Logan, and I'm sure he's given other fine performances, and he's not even all that bad in this role. It's just that I thought he was miscast, and I think the cast as a whole does good work here. In particular, I thought Sterling K. Brown's character, Traeger, was great. I liked seeing the son of Peter Keyes, Shaun Keyes, played by Jake Busey, though honestly I think they could have given him a little more screen time, or just done more with him. Keegan-Michael Key, Tom Janes, Trevante Rhodes, they're all really good as their characters. Olivia Munn was alright, even the kid wasn't bad, and including a kid in the cast and in the story was actually probably my biggest concern going into the movie. Jacob Tremblay, playing McKenna's son, is a very talented young actor, and I think performance-wise, it's a good job. Plot-wise is hard to say though, and I'm not really sure if this will end up being a point of contention or controversy, but the kid has autism, and in kind of a last-minute twist, the Predators reveal that they have evaluated McKenna's son and determined him to be an example of the next step in human evolution, so he's kidnapped as a specimen. So I don't know if people with autism will find this flattering or offensive, but I have to admit it's kind of an interesting angle, and it's a nice twist. When it comes to the Predators and what they consider to be the ultimate trophies, we'll always kind of think more along the lines of these great warriors. Big, buff, special ops badass Arnold Schwarzenegger, street smart, seen-it-all LA cop Danny Glover, and of course these snarling, deadly xenomorphs of Alien vs. Predator. But here, instead, the Predators see the genetic value of a child whose mind works quite differently, and they're willing to hunt and kill to claim his DNA makeup as a trophy. It was interesting, it was unexpected, it was a new concept, but maybe others won't feel the same way for whatever reason. So there's some new stuff that we haven't seen before in a Predator movie. The inclusion of the Ultimate Predator was intriguing and effective. I thought the design was great, the effects well done, and just altogether a vicious, deadly motherfucker. It was great. I also liked how we got to see conversations between the Predators in the Yautja language, complete with the subtitles that begin as Yautja and transform into English. That was pretty cool. And with the actual translation technology used by Project Stargazer, we're actually able to see humans and Predators converse and understand each other just a little bit better than we've seen in the previous movies. I thought that was a nice touch, and of course, there's a good display of the Predator weapons. While it doesn't go too out there with anything new, it makes good use out of the old classic weapons that we've seen before. And I think there are some alterations to the old classics that make a badass weapon even more badass. And I'll just say that if one day, God willing, there's a new Predator or Alien vs. Predator video game, they will absolutely positively have to include the blades that launch out of the wrist gauntlet as a playable weapon. Game developers out there, please make this happen. But if we want to get right down to it, if you're just looking for the absolute bottom line, of course, there's good and bad to this movie, and in my view, the good slightly outweighs the bad. In terms of a rating, I'd say this is a 5 or 6 out of 10. Nothing terrible, but not especially good either, unfortunately. I wish this were a rave review, but it's not, and I personally feel this works perfectly fine as a one-off story in the overall Predator series. And I certainly think it shouldn't be a Kickstarter to some new trilogy, but that's just me. This is actually the last time, I suppose, we'll see a Predator movie released by 20th Century Fox. Soon the rights to the Predator and Alien franchise will be owned by Disney. It might be worth having a fresh set of eyes take a look at the series and decide what, if anything, to do with it. I guess we'll see. But that's enough rambling from me for today. I want to know what you think. Did you see the movie? Did you love it, hate it, kind of lukewarm to it? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. A very, very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executives, EmYarUk and Lady Am, part of our Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. And in the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.